Hello there. As you can see, I'm not alone today. I thought it'd be more fun to bring a guest along as I give my thoughts on some of the cards from Legends of the Force. Particularly, we are covering the Vigilance aspect today. So I'll have my guests introduce themselves, say a little bit about themselves before we get started here.
Um, my name's Hector. I've been playing Star Wars Unlimited since pretty much the beginning, and we play in the same local group. So yeah, excited to be here.
All right, first up, we've got Kylo Ren, who is a Vigilance villainy leader for the set. Talk to me about Kylo Ren.
Um, he seems like he might be pretty good with yellow, or something that you can play Shrouded Intentions. Um, Otherwise, a Rival's Fall will end him pretty easily.
I've been pretty impressed with them in all colors, honestly, even not
Okay.
yellow. Like, if
Yeah.
they're not on Rivals Fall, Kit Fisto's Aether Sprite, or Bamboozle, which are like the primary bad answers to him, he kind of
Mhm.
just like deploys as a 12/12 or whatever, and he's like impossible to answer.
Yeah, he'll be a big monster and against something that can't just end him in one shot.
Yeah. And then his front side like cycles through your deck, so you get more consistent draws.
Yeah.
And it removes the normal downside that upgrades have, where it's like you draw an upgrade late and all your targets are dead, so it's a dead card. And Kyle's just like, nope, draw a new one.
Yeah.
So I think he's got a lot of good going for him, and I would not be surprised if we see some Kylo decks at the Galactic Championship doing well.
Cool.
All right, next up we got Mother Taliesin, my personal favorite pick for underrated leader. I keep seeing her getting trashed online, and I'm like, no, she's great.
I think she's pretty good.
5 deploy 3/7 force baseline is like playable. Like
Yeah.
that's a really good stat line to cost ratio.
I think the -1/-1 could come into play.
Yeah, a big example I like to bring up is if your opponent has a 7 cost Luke unit in play, and you're playing
Mhm.
red villain. Normally you can still play Palpatine unit, but it only does 6 damage. So
Yeah.
Talzin's ability lets you get that 7th damage and kill their Luke with your Palpatine, and then you're up a
Yeah.
6/6. And it's
Yeah, I
like
mean,
examples like that come up all the time when you're playing Talzin. You have to find ways to use the -1/-1 to round up small numbers of damage to where they actually matter.
yeah.
And sometimes it creates powerful stuff, like you killed their Luke.
Right.
So I like
And
her
yeah,
quite a bit.
on her leader side, sure, you got to use the force, but once she's deployed, um, you don't. It's a lot easier for
Yeah,
however
her
long.
leader side is just straight value. Like,
Yeah. And, playing a force base or whatever, a way to get the force back, you can use this every turn if you want.
yep.
Yeah, I like her. I think she'll be pretty good.
Next up, Ahsoka Tano, Vigilance Heroism Leader, that gives her stuff set.
Hmm. I don't know. I think she's okay.
I definitely think she's playable. The problem is, I really hate the leaders that take an action to give something Sentinel. Like, so I have to have initiative every turn and
Yeah.
have the Force somehow to
Yeah.
benefit from this Sentinel to protect from their biggest guy. Like, it really
Yeah.
hinders her, in my experience.
And she's 6, and she's a 5/6.
Which is like okay stats. It's not
It's
exciting.
okay. Yeah, it's not super fantastic. Horse and fringe keywords, or not keywords, uh, traits. She's okay. She's not my favorite.
Yeah, she's all around just mediocre.
Yeah.
Now in Twin Sun, she's an all star, but this is not her primary
Yeah.
focus. So
Right. Yeah.
next up, Kanan Jarrus. I like Kanan a lot more than Ahsoka because her
I do.
ability can his ability you can do it to a unit you just played. You can do it to a unit you played the last turn. Creature and Spectre are two pretty broad categories, and when he flips,
Yeah.
he's just gigantic.
Yeah.
5/8 shielded is a ridiculous leader stat line.
Yeah. The fact that it comes in with a shield, I think, is really good too.
Yeah, make sure he doesn't just get ambushed immediately or something.
And then Force Jedi, Rebel, and Spectre.
All great keywords, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think he's a lot better than Ahsoka.
Now, is that enough to be competitively exciting? I don't think so. I think unfortunately he
No,
suffers
I
from a
think
loot
there's still better
problem.
leaders in the set.
Yeah, paying one for a shield still is like not that great.
Yeah, I
As
mean
a
you
general
can.
rule of thumb, if your leader ability costs one, you go down to tier in competitive automatically. Like I
I
think
mean
Kira's the only leader that is like the exception because of her powerful leader flip.
you already have a card that pay one to give a shield, so
Yeah, spending your leader space on it is a little
yeah,
awkward.
he's not doing anything that you can't do with the blue card already.
Yeah, that definitely holds him back for sure. Uh, then we've got Burgess Temple, a 25 HP or blue base that gives you the force if you keep healthy units alive.
That was situational. I don't know, maybe too much so.
Um, 25 HP is a large decrease from 30, or some decks have been playing Colossus and Data Vault to get extra HP.
Especially now with Colossus and Data Vault, anytime there's a 25 HP base, it just seems like a big gap.
Yeah, it's really tough to overcome, and you have to be doing some really busted stuff with the Force to make it worth it.
Yeah, your ability has to be about as good as ECL's ability to ambush something, or something really impactful, like even Tarkin Town, something that really gives you a bonus, a benefit. I would rather just play a 28 hit point base to get the force.
Yeah, this is like my problem with almost all the rare bases in the set is I feel like I would just put force units in my deck and play the 28 HP. Like if I want
Yeah.
to use the force, I'm gonna put force units in my deck. So
Yeah.
like playing this weird hybrid deck that the devs are trying to like allow you to do, I just don't think it works in practice at high level competitive play, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And they're terrible and limited. Opening this in your rare slot and sealed is gonna suck.
Yeah, probably. But yeah, I just think it's with the regular 28 hit point base, I think it's far less conditional and you have more hit points.
Yep.
Yes, you have to have a force unit and attack with a force unit. The other one, you just have to have a unit with 4 or more remaining hit points. It doesn't have to be a force unit. But you're playing the force deck, you probably have force units anyway.
Yeah, for sure. And then we've got these dual 28 HP bases. I think we already covered it pretty extensively in the 25. Like if you are playing cards with the force trait or use the force mechanic in your deck, play one of these. They're really great value, honestly. Only losing 2 hit points for some of the powerful abilities the force gives you is a great deal.
Yeah, I agree.
And then we've got carries.
-2 is pretty good.
Yeah, that's a lot for a 2-drop. Like,
yeah,
some leaders have 4 health. Carries can just like attack in. The base gives you the force. You deal 2, and then you give -2, -2. That kills Cal Cestus. Like,
yeah. I think that could be pretty good. I mean, yes, it's going to cost you the force, but I think she's solid for it. You're only paying 2 for her, so.
Yeah, outside of force decks, she's basically blank, which is annoying. But in force decks, she's a 2-cost 2/4.
Force units are going to be that way.
Yeah. In force decks, she's a 2-cost 2/4 force. Like that's almost good enough on its own, and then she's got a powerful ability on top of that. So she'll definitely see play if there's a blue villain force mid-rangey deck that exists in the meta.
Right.
Magistrate Scout.
2/4 restore 2 for 3 is okay. I think. I mean, decent amount of health, not the greatest attack, but you're restoring 2. I could see it being used in some things.
So we're 5 sets into the game's life, and I really don't think a 3-cost 2/4 restore 2 is like making the cut. There's a lot more exciting 3-drops at this point in the game.
Yeah.
Like Yoda even, who's that 3-cost 2/4 restore 2 that draws you a card on death, doesn't even make the cut all the time anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, that's in hero compared to villain, but
yeah, that's what I'm saying. It has to be a little more specific to the deck. Like certain decks you could play Yoda, and I could see this on the villainy side maybe some decks want that restored too.
Yeah. It's a neat Tarkin card. Like if you're still a Tarkin enjoyer from set one, being able to give this experience makes it a lot more threatening.
Yes.
Like it would be a staple 3-up probably in Tarkin Blue if I was building that deck. But outside of that, I don't see it. It's mostly there for limited anyway, filling a slot.
Yeah.
Next up is Nameless Terror.
Against a Force deck, it can be good. We're going to be very specific. I think in a limited format where a lot of people are probably going to be playing Force style decks, it could be good. In regular constructed, you run into a deck that doesn't have a whole lot of Force in it. It does nothing. It's a 3-cost 3/3.
Yeah, that's the biggest problem. Is it's just completely blank if your opponent plays no Force.
Yeah.
If your opponent's playing Force, it'll like ruin their day. It is really oppressive against a Force deck to be able to exhaust their biggest unit when played, and then potentially cut them off the Force trait to gain the Force, or to play Force Throw, or Forces with Me, or all these payoffs every turn.
Might be a good sideboard card if the meta turns to Force a lot.
Yeah, if the meta is primarily Force, I definitely think it will see sideboard play. Mm-hmm. But if that's not the case, you'll just fear it and limit it.
It's a 3/3 for 3.
Next up is Supremacy Tie SF.
Now this is a 3/3 for 3, but in space, which is slightly more valuable.
A little better, yeah.
I mean, it's a better Sentinel than Blackstone Starfighter.
Yeah, straight upgrade to Blackstone Starfighter if you're playing that in your blue villain deck.
Especially if you're playing blue, yeah. So for decks that want that space Sentinel, I think it's pretty good for that purpose anyway.
It's first order traded for that blue Phasma deck that everyone's playing. That's tearing up the meta.
Oh yeah.
I think the biggest thing on this card is it has 3 health compared to Black Sun, which lets Kira shield it if she wants, which is really annoying.
Yeah. It could come out of a Vader.
Yep.
Blue green. So I like it. I think it could see play in certain decks.
I think it'll see tons of play, especially in blue green villain.
Yeah.
Now we've got Talzin's Assassin.
Kind of like the Karis with the -2/-2, -3/-3. It could be pretty strong. 4/4 is okay, but when played, if you have that, if you have the Force to use, you can, get rid of something.
Yeah. So if you don't have the Force, the stats are pretty mediocre. It's like whatever. Yeah. But if you do have the Force, this can target leaders. It can hit space units. Like there's a lot of versatility in the ability to just give a guy -3/-3 on demand. You can like shrink their leader and then send your 3-drop in to finish off the stuff like that. So I think if there is a prominent blue villain Force deck, there will be at least 2 copies of Talzin's Assassin in the deck. It's pretty strong when you can turn on the ability.
Yeah.
And then we've got Old Daka.
I think this one's interesting. Defeat another knight unit and then play it again from your discard pile for free. I mean, if you have something with a good when played or when defeated ability, I haven't really taken stock in all the knight units to see what good when played, when defeated abilities there are, but it seems like it could be interesting. Unfortunately, like with Talzin's Assassin, you'd have to use the Force. So if you already played her and used the Force, to try to use it a second time or something, although you probably wouldn't be playing both of them in the same turn, that'd be 9 resources.
Yeah. So the most obvious synergy is Talzin's Assassin. You play Talzin's Assassin on 4 resources, you shrink one of their units, and then on 5, you attack for 4, regain the Force, and then play Old Daka, defeat Talzin's Assassin, replay Talzin's Assassin, and then do the thing again. Potentially healing damage off of the Talzin's Assassin. Like, if that lines up, the card probably feels pretty great.
Yeah.
My problem with the card is if they remove your target for it, she feels really bad.
Then she
Like
doesn't
a
do anything.
like a 5 cost 6/6 that does nothing, like has to have Poe level of threat density in my opinion.
Right. I mean, Poe is great as a 5 cost 6/6, but he also has his discard ability.
Yeah, Poe has 3 flexible modes.
Yeah.
Daka is just a stat stick, which is unfortunate. So I think it's really hard to justify something that doesn't either do something immediately or threaten something to level Poe in your 5 drop slot. Immediate impact is that important. And then Darth Vader, holy crap, this absolute unit of a unit.
That one has immediate impact, especially if you're ambushing in ECL or timely intervention. Um,
or Piat
he's
unit or Xian Flurry.
yeah, he's just great.
Like it's almost worth considering putting Timely or Xian Flurry in your deck if you're playing
Yeah,
blue villain just to give the Vader ambush because it is that impactful. It it at bare minimum is just Rivals Fall on a 5/6 shielded.
yeah,
Like you just kill anything on the ground. You
yeah.
can shield a space unit and then ambush it into a ground unit and kill both. You can kill 2 ground units. Like this thing with ambush is just ludicrously valuable.
And the opponent has to deal with them right away. If you have something to give shields, like Long Pike or something, you can just keep defeating things every turn.
Yeah. Like a lot of cards, I was looking into it the other day. A lot of cards actually don't specify to give a friendly unit shield, a shield token. Like I was
Yeah.
looking at Covering the Wing. Covering the Wing is just make an X-Wing, give a shield token to another unit.
Mm-hmm.
So you just play it, make an X-Wing, give a shield to your opponent's unit, and then Vader can kill that unit for free on attack. That is insane value for 2 resources.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, if your opponent doesn't answer Vader, he'll just run away with the game.
I think this might be my favorite of the Vader cards so far.
Oh yeah, for sure. Mine as well. He's a little bit weaker without ambush, but like
Yeah,
just don't put him in your deck if you don't have ways to ambush him. Like there's other
yeah,
great 6 drops you can play.
yeah. But if
So
you can,
I think he's probably going to be one of the Chase Legendaries next set. He's ridiculous. Next up, we've got Pongkrell.
2/9 with grit, and then completes an attack and survives. Defeat a unit with less remaining hit points than this unit's power. If you've got the grit online, that might be good, but it's probably too slow.
Yeah, so this is my biggest problem with the card, is it's really slow. Like, we worry about not having immediate impact on our 5 cost units. This is a 7 cost unit. So, and it's competing with, like, Cad Bane, Maul, Vader, Luke, all these units that do crazy stuff when you play them.
Yeah, at that cost, 7, 8, higher, hell, even 6, 5 costs, they have to have some sort of immediate impact to really see competitive play.
Now, on the other hand, if you are in a slow matchup and you just get to play him and he lives, he kills all other 7 drops currently in the game and lives.
Yeah.
And becomes like an 8 something or a 9 something. Like his power goes ridiculous. So the slower the matchup is, the much stronger he feels. So I actually think he tests a lot better than he looks. Like, I don't think he'll see much play because it's hard to justify slotting him over some of these other flashy 7 drops. But if you don't have another option in blue villain, I think he's the best blue villain 7 drop we have currently.
There's a lot of decks that just have answers, though, whether it's a removal card or bounce card, something. Even exhaust it, and then the card does nothing for a turn. Or you might
yeah, that's definitely a concern. At least you don't just take down Infel the Dragon until he attacks something.
Yeah.
So maybe you can get away with it. But yeah, in general, I don't think he's like a super exciting card. You're like, this is it. This is like slam 3 copies into my deck. It's like the last ad because I didn't have any other 7 drops. But maybe you'll see some play. Darth Sidious is next.
I don't know. I mean, 6/8, restore 2, fine. One played, use a force, defeat a non-Sith unit. with 3 or less remaining hit points. I mean, kind of specific.
I find it really funny that if you're playing the Sith Mirror, he does nothing.
Yeah.
Like, he just doesn't kill any of their units. Like, I know it's like flavor text, but that would be really annoying if you're putting a Sith units that you want to kill with him.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think it's too situational.
I think the biggest problem is an 8-drop, and although he does have immediate impact, you kind of have to set up the board for it to have immediate impact.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's not going to kill basically anything on his own. Now, if you play him like as a follow-up to Snoke unit, then he kills everything with fiberless, essentially. Then he looks a lot better. But
Yeah.
I think the lack of individual strength really hampers his ability to make the cut.
Yeah, there's just better things to do on 8 in general.
Yeah.
Hell, even Snoke is a better thing to do on 8.
Now, in Count Dooku, you can exploit him in on 6, and then a 6 cost 6/8 restore 2 that maybe kill stuff is a lot more exciting.
That's a lot better. Yeah, 6/8 restore 2 for 6. You probably give up a unit or 2, but if it's a droid or something, it's not a big deal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, probably in Dooku if there's a competitive Dooku blue deck, but outside of that, I don't see it making the cut.
Yeah.
We've got Kylo Ren's lightsaber.
Eh. 1/3 for 2. Attached to a force unit, and then it can't be exhausted. I don't know. I would have liked to have seen more on Kylo's lightsaber, or something maybe that interacts with Kylo specifically.
Like, I feel like it should have done something if it was played from your discard pile.
Yeah.
Like, if it was played from your discard pile, draw a card on top of the normal text. I think that would have made me really excited for it.
I can see how maybe they're thinking you play him when you flip the Kylo leader, and now at least he can't be exhausted that turn and completely blanked. But to play it on anything else, it's okay. I think there are better upgrades.
Yeah, it definitely has stiff competition. Like, I find it where if I'm even slotting it in Kylo decks at all, I pitch it to the leader ability every time. Like, it's either going on Kylo or it's getting out of my hand because I'm never paying 2 resources for it. It's too narrow an effect to, like, hold in your hand.
And with that deck, you're probably going to be pitching a lot of your upgrades anyways to set up that Kylo flip turn.
Yep, for sure. Then we've got Drain Essence.
I think this was all right. Deal 2 damage to a unit, and then you gain the force. Yeah, you've got other abilities that do 2 damage, like drawing a blank, the 1 cost red card.
Daring Raid.
Daring Raid, thank you. Yes, this costs more, but you're also creating the force while doing 2 damage to a unit. I think this could see some play.
So Grenade Strike deals 2 to a unit and 1 potentially to another unit for 2.
Mm-hmm.
These cards feel about equal in my mind. Like, if you have a leader that uses the force, you can maybe slot this. Like,
if you need the force, this one could be good. I mean, obviously, in a non-force deck, no.
Yeah, absolutely don't play it. But if you're playing like Mother Taliesin or Maul, it can round it up to 3 on turn 1, which is kind of nice. But unfortunately, there's a ton of 2/4s in the set, so it got a lot worse after we sold the full set, unfortunately. But it's still maybe worth a slot. Like, when you're playing against Sabine, all of Sabine's units have 3 health, so you can get that 3 health kill. And then Power of the Dark Side their turn 2, and keep that kind of removal train going. Next up is Always 2.
I don't know. I mean, there's maybe situations where this could be good. Fine, giving 2 shields and 2 experience to 2 units is good, but defeat any other units you might have. I mean, you might not have 2 other units anyway, so that part might be irrelevant. But it would feel really bad to do this, and then they just play a removal card to get rid of one of them.
Yeah. I think the biggest problem this card has is we don't have any cheap unique Sith, really.
Yeah.
Vanna is a 2-drop and green villain. That is a 2/4. That's great. The cheapest leaders we have are Revan and Asajj Ventress on 4 and 5 deploy respectively. And then like you've got Darth Malak outside of the Revan deck. So like if you're playing Revan blue, you probably put it in your deck. But other than that, it really struggles to find targets in the early game. And if you're playing it in the late game and your units are sticking, like you're winning anyway. So it's kind of win more at that point.
Yeah.
Really sick flavor though, and you'll definitely get beat up by people deploying Asajj, deploying Revan, and then always doing in Twin Suns, and then they're both ginormous. The Tragedy of Plagueis.
I mean, it's a removal card, and you can save a unit from being killed this phase, at least as far as losing hit points. It's not bad. I could see some uses for it.
So first off, flavor 10 out of 10. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Like one of the most flavorful cards in the set. Top marks. So if you're paying 5 for Power of the Dark Side, essentially, with this, we are like Camp the Defeated clause attached on top. And I think the difficulty is actually using the top text that makes your unit unkillable for a phase. Like, it's nice on a Sentinel, maybe. If they're trying to attack through a Sentinel, you make it where it doesn't die to damage. But then they waylay anyway, and you're sad.
Yeah.
But, or you can, like, put it on a grit unit.
That's what I was about to say, a grit unit. And
then you can try and just pump a crap ton of damage into the grit unit and hit for a ton. Because you can go, like, the grit keeps going even if you put damage on it past its health. But outside of those, it's just, like, an expensive Power of the Dark Side. Why not play Power of the Dark Side?
Yeah.
Now, maybe post-rotation, like, both Merciless Contest and Power of the Dark Side are rotating out. So maybe this is, like, our only option for that kind of removal type effect.
At 5 to remove, to Power of the Dark Side for 5, though, if it was worth it, people would be playing it out of aspect.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Never know. Maybe the game slows down post-rotation, though.
Yeah.
That is all of Vigilance Villainy. Now we're on to Vigilance Heroism, and it starts off with Lothwolf.
This was pretty good, I think, as far as good stats for 2. Yes, it can attack, but it's a Sentinel. In certain decks where you want to stop the aggro, it can be pretty good. And then if you're playing Kazuda, you can blank the text. So I see this card could be seen in some decks.
Yeah, you put it in Kazuda, you play it turn 1. Turn 2, you blank it, and you play Pounce to do 7 damage to your opponent's face on turn 2. Yeah. Stuff like that. All the words on the card are good, other than this unit can attack, but that's not too big of a deal.
No, really, I mean, a 3/3 Sentinel for 2 is not bad.
My personal favorite place to slot this deck is Chancellor Palpatine from Twilight of the Republic.
Okay.
You want heroism units to die anyway.
Yep.
And if they're usually you're playing that with Colossus as a like soft control deck. So if they're not attacking into your Lothwolf and killing it, like they're just giving up ground and they're not hitting your face. So it's a win-win. So yeah, it performs pretty well there. If you're like a slower soft control, maybe slower mid-range deck, you probably should consider it because it's really good at slowing down aggro.
Yeah.
Then we've got Yaddle.
I like Yaddle. I see a blue heroism force style deck. I'm probably definitely playing this. 2 cost 4, restore 1, give other Jedi units restore 1.
So if it was a unique unit that was a 2 cost 2 4, restore 1, end of text, I would be like, okay, this card's amazing. And then it gets this random extra text that can give your whole board restore 1. Like, Yaddle was pretty crazy.
As long as they're Jedi, but you're probably going to be putting Jedi in a force deck anyway.
Yeah.
So
I think the the craziest thing that shows how powerful a card is I'm playing 3 Yaddle and Hantu Blue, and Hantu Blue does not need to play 2 cost units. That is how powerful Yaddle is, that it's
No, but
making the
he's
cut in
great.
Hantu Blue.
And he's a force unit, so he'll enable force throw in that deck. So
Yep.
yeah, I think this is a really good card.
Now we've got Ezra Bridger.
Another 3 cost 3/5, which, decent numbers. That's pretty good. It's become kind of standard for a lot of decks. Good traits: Force Jedi, Rebel Spectre, and being able to give a Spectre or a creature a token on attack. I think it's solid.
If you're getting this text to consistently fire, Ezra's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
3 XP is a really strong ability.
Yeah.
The biggest problem, I think, is actually having him stick and then playing a Spectre and then attacking. Like, that's a lot of actions.
Yeah.
And if you don't do that, he's just a vanilla 3/5 force, which is, like, okay, but it's not exciting.
But he is a 3/5, so they're going to have to work to get rid of him, expend some resources. And that worst comes to worst, if they do that, it's like you just put down a 3/5 Sentinel.
The place I think I like him most is Han1 Blue. If you play that as a force deck, you can play him turn 1 as a Liberated Slaves type effect, which Han was already playing anyway.
Yeah.
And then turn 2, you can slam Jedi Lightsaber on curve. And then your opponent is like, oh my gosh, you've got a 6/8 unit that gives my defenders -2, -2. What the frick?
Yeah.
I better have Willy or Power of the Dark Side, or I'm going to die. And we've got T6 Shuttle 1974.
This was okay. I mean, 3/4 space unit for 3. That's, those are decent numbers. If it gets attacked, you can give it an experience token before the damage is dealt. So suddenly, if it gets attacked, it's a 4/5. And if they don't attack it, then you get to use it for free.
Yep. So when you can give this card Sentinel, it's kind of ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's really efficient if you can find a way to give it to Sentinel for 1 or 0 resources. So of course it works with the Ahsoka leader because it's her shuttle. That makes sense.
Yeah.
But like, if you can't give it Sentinel, your opponents are never going to attack into this unless they can kill it with the experience. So it's basically a 3/4 vanilla, which is not super exciting. I mean, that kind of makes the cut in space because there's not a lot of good space units. But
yeah, but at least you have a unit that you can use and, almost guarantees you 3 damage every turn. Put a pilot on it, and now they're going to have to really consider dealing with it.
Yeah, for sure. Put Chewbacca on it, make them regret their life.
Yeah, and then they can't bounce it or remove it, and they attack it, and it just gets bigger.
I'm not even gonna try to say this card's name. Something Warrior.
Itinerant Warrior. 4/4 shielded, Force Jedi. 4/4 is okay numbers. It's shielded, so that's a plus. And then use the Force and deal 3 damage, or heal 3 damage from a base. That could be pretty good in Blue Heroism, I think.
4/4 shielded for 4. I would play that as a vanilla. I would play that if it had no other text. That sounds pretty good in my opinion.
Yeah, the shield, I think, makes it there.
4/4 shielded that also heals 3 damage from your base on play is amazing. Like, absolutely. If you're playing a 4 deck, put this in your deck. This seems amazing. I think it's particularly great in Hantu Blue because you can play it as a 3-cost 4/2 shielded.
Shielded, so yeah.
And it's like that's really aggressive. It's annoying to remove if they don't have a way to ping off the shield, and you get healing potentially on turn 2 against aggro. Like, it's just all around great. Solid card.
Yeah.
This is the exact opposite of a solid card, but this is Jedi Guardian.
Jedi Guardian. When defending, +2, great. 4/8.
That's above curve, technically. That's a lot of stats.
It is, but it doesn't have a whole lot of immediate impact. They could just ignore it, find other ways to remove it. It's No, there's better things to do on 5.
So on defense, it actually has a 6-drop stats, which
Mm-hmm.
is interesting. But like, if you don't have a way to give it Sentinel, it's just terrible. If you have a way to give it Sentinel, it still gets waylaid and rivals followed and shatter pointed. Like,
Yeah.
it's really easy to remove, and it doesn't do anything on enter. It doesn't do anything on attack. It's literally there just to give Sentinel to.
Mm-hmm.
And I think there are better cards to that for that also have one plate value. So
Yeah.
it's going to be pretty mediocre. Definitely won't see him play in Premier. Now in draft with the Ahsoka leader, holy crap, this is going to be annoying.
This one could be pretty good. Yeah. And yeah, this is one of those cards that in limited I think would be fine.
Yep. Speaking of cards that want you to give them Sentinel.
Plo Koon, 6/8. Okay, good numbers. While you have the Force, it gains grit. I like abilities that if you have the Force, instead of having to spend the Force,
Yep.
So that's kind of cool. If you can get the grit going, this could be a beast.
So if you've got a Force base, a 20 HP Force base, this basically always has grit. You just get it on attack.
Yeah.
So that's nice, but again, it's a 6-drop that just does nothing. It's just giant.
Yeah, there are better things to do with 6.
Like, I can ECL Vader or Wrecker on 6. I'm not playing Plo Koon.
Yeah.
So now in limited, I bet this thing is a monster. I bet this just like 2 hits bases on average. Like,
but yeah, in constructed, it's too slow.
Yeah. Now again, maybe post rotation. I doubt post rotation it slows down enough to play a 6/6/8 grit, but
yeah,
that'd be pretty wild. But and then we've got Jedi Holodron.
It's okay if you want to heal your units. I mean, a 1-cost upgrade, 1/1, gives your unit an on-attack ability. It's okay. It's not my favorite thing to do.
I think like all the words on this card are fine. I think the biggest problem is deck space. Like, what are you cutting to make room for this card?
Yeah,
probably nothing. Like, it's an experience token for one with a little bit of upside. Like, that's nice, but
it's
you're
not gonna protect your unit. Like, they can get rid of it if they need to get rid of it anyway. That +1 probably isn't going to make the difference. The healing thing, fine if you've got something going on where you want to be healing your units back and forth and keep them alive. But there are better things to do, I think.
It is interesting that it's a 1-cost heroism upgrade, so you can play it in Kylo and just intend to discard it to Force Throw to turn on the Anakin unit. And then they only get 1 damage out of their Force Throw.
Yeah.
Like, and then worst case, you just cycle it to the Kylo ability. So it's maybe worth a slot in that context, because you can still play it on your flip turn too if you have spare resources. But everywhere else, I don't see it making the cut.
Yeah.
Jedi Trials is next.
No.
Just no.
No. It's going to take way too long to, in my opinion, to make it work. Yeah, on attack, gain an experience token. There's so many units or upgrades abilities that give an experience token, and half of them are never seen. And yeah, if the attached unit has 4 more upgrades on it, it gains a Jedi trait. Or you can just play a Jedi to begin with.
Yep. Just put Jedi units in your deck. Like,
yeah, and then done. It's a 0-cost upgrade.
Now, it is very amusing to play this card out of aspect and make villainy units Jedi. Like you deploy Kylo and play Jedi Trials and 3 other upgrades, and now he's Jedi trait, which is like a huge flavor fail. But yeah, I think this card is just in the set for flavor. It won't make the cut in Premier. You probably won't even play it in Draft.
I won't play it in Constructed. Yeah, sorry, in Limited. in
Like,
draft or sealed.
I mean, you have 80 spots in Twin Suns, so maybe you fit it in Twin Suns because it's kind of a fun card in that format where you aren't getting your
Yeah.
units removed every 2 seconds. But outside of that, I don't see it making the cut. Next up is Heirloom Lightsaber.
This one's okay. I mean, it's what is that one? Academy training with Restore One.
Yep.
It's okay. It's Restore. I mean, giving something Restore One can be really nice. You know, giving it the +2/+2 is something. It's not my favorite of the lightsabers.
Like, I think all the words are just, like, okay on this card. Like, there's nothing completely wrong with it. I think the
No.
biggest problem is the competition with Jedi Lightsaber and Constructed Lightsaber.
Yes.
Jedi Lightsaber is, like, busted, and Constructed Lightsaber gives Restore 2 and an extra health for only one more cost.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, I'd just rather pay that extra cost at that point.
yeah. So it's like, it's maybe you play one as your fourth Jedi lightsaber or something like that, but I don't see it seeing more than like 1x play.
Yeah. In a draft or sealed, I could see putting it in the deck maybe.
Yeah, check in on your leader in limited. I could see that for sure.
Yeah.
Then we've got Calm in the Storm.
If you've got a Sentinel, this could be pretty good.
It makes Sentinels really annoying to kill.
Yeah. Oh yeah, shield and 2 experience. I mean, I like that. If it's not a Sentinel, you're just wasting a turn to do 2 extra damage next turn.
Yeah. I think the biggest problem with this card is it's obviously insane on Sentinels, but your opponent has to remove Sentinels anyway, so they will be doing that. They will be bouncing them, or they will be playing takedown on them. So if you're spending 2 resources to make your Sentinel bulkier, and then they were going to remove it anyway, it feels kind of bad.
Yeah.
So that's like a big problem with the card. Now in Twin Suns with the Obi-Wan leader, and then they make him unkillable, and nobody at the table wants to bite the bullet and kill him. Yeah, that'll happen.
And then everyone's arguing with each other about who's going to take him down. If you attack him, will you finish him off? So on and so forth.
Yeah, and from here, I just don't see it making the cut. It's too easy to counter. And we've got Doom.
I mean, giving experience token, we were talking about doing experience tokens with other cards. This one gives it to each other friendly non-vehicle unit.
Including your leader, notably.
Yeah, that could be good if you have a few other units, you know. Even if you just give it to one, it's a free experience token. However,
on a 2/7, which is pretty good.
On a 2/7, numbers are fine. It is double blue. It costs 4. Doesn't do anything when it comes into play. It is hard to get rid of, though. So maybe, I don't know. You have to really kind of tweak your double blue deck to slot this in.
I think it's like an ideal Rey blue card. Rey uses experience to make her unit stickier, and then just being able to play Doom. You can buff the Doom with Rey if you feel like it, and then Doom just makes your whole board even stickier. Like you can maybe like swarm the board and then make it really hard to remove your board and take advantage early. I can see it there. It's a little slow in other double blue decks, even for double blue.
Even for double. I mean, and the fact that it is double blue, it's like, I don't know. If you're going to have a double aspect card, I want it to do more.
Yeah, it's got to be like Vigilance or Cunning level.
Yeah.
It's got to be exciting. It's like you have to have a really developed board state for this card to be exciting. Force and Creature are both great traits. Like you can shield it with Cannon.
It does have good traits. But again, the double blue aspect of it, I don't know. I can see it in Rey, though. even then, there might be better 4 cost options.
Yeah, four drop slot's pretty contested right now for most decks.
Yeah.
Especially with Legends of the Force. Legends of the Force printed a lot of good 4 cost units.
Yeah.
Next is Size Matters Not.
Another double blue card. Um, again, maybe. Fine. Yeah, you're going to play this in a deck with Force units, so it's only going to cost you 2, and suddenly you make a unit a 5/5. You know, play Yaddle and then put this on them or something.
Yeah, that is a 5/5. Like,
Yeah. But then they bounce it, remove it, and then it feels really bad.
yeah.
So it's one of those that I don't know that it's gonna see a whole lot of play, unless double blue sees a whole lot of play.
It's another card that's interesting in Ray because it makes the base power 5/5. So if you play like an Owen Lars a 0/3 and you just buff it every turn and then you put Size Matters Not on it, it gets to continue to benefit from the experience. So it can make a unit really large. But you still get wrecked by waylay, by removal, like it just upgrades that aren't do like really crazy things like Jedi lightsaber just generally don't make the cut. They're too easy to punish. And this one like really can't even benefit most leaders, which is the reason we run most upgrades is because you can at least put it on your leader and they're a little harder to remove. So yeah, I think that's pretty doom and gloom for this card, at least competitively. I'm sure it'll do a ton of crazy stuff at the casual.
For those early units, like you play a 1-drop, you play like in some decks you play an R2D2 and then suddenly give him a lightsaber and he's a problem for a few turns. This could be that as well, but double blue specifically.
Yep. Now we've got, speaking of Owen Lars.
Owen Lars is cool. I mean, he's a moisture farmer who could search for a Force unit. I mean, he's all right.
This card just makes my heart happy. Like I'm a big moisture farmer fan, and they just power grip moisture farmer. Like, moisture farmer that does something if they remove it. Like, if I'm playing Force units in my deck, I want to stay. I would consider it, but unfortunately, it usually doesn't make the cut.
Yeah, I can see it in like a Ray deck.
Yeah, Ray can buff it.
The token, and it gets bigger. It has the restore 2, and it can search. I don't see it in other Force decks necessarily.
Hantu Blue can play it for free as a 0/1 also, which is interesting. Space is super tight in that deck, though.
Yeah.
But yeah, outside of that, like the problem is if your leader isn't able to buff it or play it for free, like taking a turn off of curving out to play this doesn't seem worth it in general. Oh, Director Krennic also. Director Krennic can reduce it, so you can play it turn 1 and like a double blue Thrawn if you're doing that. And then Thrawn can double trigger it and draw you 2 cards.
Yeah.
But yeah, outside of those couple of specific decks, it's going to be tough for him to find a slot. Guardian of the Wills. It was trashed the first time, so it's here again.
So rinse and repeat. It's just a Force unit to add to the Legends of the Force set. We didn't see it before. Probably not going to see it now.
Yeah, just 2 cost 2/2 is just terrible. Like, it's so bad.
Yeah.
It's like it's not like you're competing with 2/2 shielded, 2/4, and 3/3. Like, it's worse stats than all of those stat lines.
Yeah.
And it doesn't even like have like a powerful ability to make up for it.
No.
So
I suppose you could Size Matters Not the Guardian of the Wills and play it for 1.
Yeah, that's like cute.
And then play another 2 cost card on turn 2. But yeah. Nah.
Next up is Night Sister Warrior.
It's okay. It's not fantastic. I don't see it making the cut in a lot of decks. Maybe in like a sealed, it'd be something to do. When defeated, draw a card is fine. And drawn, fine. You can draw 2 cards. 2/2, it's probably not going to be doing a whole lot.
So for Secretive Sage was one of the last cards spoiled. So I was very high on this card for the longest time because I was like, it's a 2/2 force unit. Even if they remove it, you get a draw card. And then they spoiled Secretive Sage, and I'm like, okay, so we're cutting Night Sister Warrior for Secretive Sage. Turns out Force Crafty Smuggler is ridiculous.
Yes.
He's probably next, but yeah, I don't know. Like, Nitrate matters if you're playing like Old Daka. You can defeat it, get it back, and draw a card. That's like
Draw a card, yeah.
And yeah, like you already said about the Thrawn thing, drawing 2 with it and Thrawn is pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
You could definitely consider it Thrawn. But outside of like Thrawn, it's a really tough sell.
Yeah.
Oh, I was wrong. Secret
Padawan Starfighter.
These reprints slap so hard.
Yeah. No.
I wish this was a base 1/4. Like, if it became a 2/5 on turn 2, maybe.
Yeah.
That'd be at least unique. It'd be large. But
now, yeah, you may see a lot more force units, maybe more force upgrades, but I'm probably not putting it in anything outside of a limited deck, And
that's because here's Secretive Sage.
Secretive Sage is awesome. I mean, it's a blue crafty smuggler.
Yeah.
With the force trait.
Yeah, it's great. Now, if you want to play 9 Crafty Smugglers and Garsax in yellow, you can. You can play 3 Director Krennic, 3 Secretive Sage, and 3 Crafty Smuggler. And just like, I always draw Crafty in my opener.
Yeah.
But yeah, and any Force deck that is in blue is probably playing 3 of this. It's great stats. It's got the Force trait. You start getting the token. You turn on Source Throw, all those things.
Yeah,
nothing to complain about.
It's a solid card, I think, just overall.
Yeah. Axe Wolves.
Yeah, fine. He comes out as a 3/3 shielded, but as soon as he takes any damage, he's just a 3-cost 2/2.
Yeah, that's definitely the problem with him.
Yeah.
Is on his own, he's kind of meh.
Yeah, and that whole +1 for each upgrade on him. No, it would take too long and too much effort to make him good.
So I think the traditional, like, we're not gonna play legitimate upgrades on this guy. You're not gonna put lightsabers or something on him because we all know that's bad at this point in the game. It's too easy to punish at a competitive level. Now, I think the most interesting thing is experience basically counts for double on him.
Yes, like in an array deck.
Yeah, so like if they pop the shield in an array, you could buff him, and then he's a 4/4, and that's like that's okay.
So
that's
kind of gets an upgrade at that point, but I don't know.
So if you have a way to give him XP for cheap and without jumping through some hoops, you can maybe play him. But outside of that, it's too easy to punish like playing legitimate upgrades or.
You could put Jedi Trials on him.
Sure. We're just maxing the flavor fail in Jedi Trials. So Kylo Ren and this Mandalorian that definitely would never become Jedi. Oh no, it's Ogdo Bogdo.
Ogdo Bogdo. 3-cost 5/5 that can't attack unless it's damaged. If you got a way to damage this guy, he can be pretty solid. Or blank the text. It's a 3-cost 5/5. So I can see him in certain decks. He could be pretty good.
I have been told by the people that have played the video game he's from that he's pretty thematic as like a very, very scary mini boss from that you can fight early on in the game, which is cool. But yeah, in Kazuda, where you can blank him, and he's just a 3-cost 5/5. In Han 2, where you can play him as a 2-cost 5/3.
5/3. Yeah.
And in Kira, where you can play him on 3 and then shield him on 4. And then he can go in and kill something, heal the 2 damage, or pop the shield, and then heal the 2 damage that you did to him. So you just get, like, he's just repeated removal in Kira. In those 3 decks, I think he's insane.
Yeah.
In every other deck that can enable him, he's like, okay, you probably still slot him if you're playing like a Saj 4. But he's definitely the most exciting in those 3 decks. And he will see play in those 3 decks at a competitive level.
Yes.
Well, assuming Kaz Blue is competitive, but creature aggro, 3 lawful, 3 Ogdo Bogdo, and you just like pounce for a billion. Like that sounds fun, even if it's not like competitive. Now we've got Town.
It's nothing special. 3-cost 3/3. When defeated, give a shield token to a damaged non-vehicle.
Yeah, the damage clause really kills this card, I think.
Really specific. Yeah. So now you got to go out of your way to damage the unit without killing it, or he just gets killed and nothing happens. So yeah, I don't see him being played unless you just didn't draw enough cards in your draft pool or something.
Yeah, 3-cost 3/3 is just really not the stat line you're looking for. You're looking for at least a 3/4, ideally a 3/5. So his stats are really bad. Like, he's got the creature trait, so I guess you can shield him with Kanan. Like,
yeah.
It's not even a good when defeated ability to double with Thrawn. Like, both Krennic and Molecule can reduce him, but he doesn't actually benefit from the reduction because he's not like a 4-drop.
I'd rather play the next unit for 3 cost.
And then we've got Awakened Specters.
No, Watto.
Oh, Watto. Did I skip Watto?
You skipped Watto.
Oh no! Why did I skip Watto? That's a mistake. Watto's amazing.
He's a 1/6. I like cards where the opponent has to choose between 2 things. An experience token to a friendly unit or draw a card. Those are both good things. The 1/6, he's got a lot of numbers. It's only tagged for 1. But I don't know. I think I could see playing this card in some decks.
He's really sticky.
Right. Yeah.
Like, dealing 5 is already difficult. Dealing 6 is really tough without putting in a lot of effort.
Yeah.
So yeah, in decks that can pump him like Rey or Anakin, like, I could definitely see him potentially making the cut.
And that experience token to a friendly unit, even if he's your only unit, if they want
then he gets even bigger.
Just gets him. He gets it himself, and if not, you draw a card. So I think he could be good.
And he's a Twin Suns All-Star. You get to negotiate, and you don't even have to choose the opponent you attack.
Yeah, because there's just an opponent chooses one.
Yep.
Yeah. Twin Suns, I think he'll be totally fun.
Auto included every blue Twin Suns deck. He's like the first card I put in. All right, now we've got Awakened Specters, a lot less exciting.
4 cost 4/5.
That's good.
I mean, 4 cost 4/5 is fine. That's like Kanan numbers or whatever. And this is just blue, not heroism or villainy. It's just vanilla, though. There's no text, so there's other things you can do for 4.
Yeah. The way you can play 4-cost units with the 4 straight that have good stats and an ability, just doesn't have it. Now, it'll probably be really annoying and limited.
Yeah, I mean, it's got decent numbers for that, yeah.
Oh, it doesn't even have 4 straight. All right, this card's trash.
No, it's just Knight and Undead.
Okay, yeah, this card's really bad. Never mind. It's not annoying and limited.
Yeah. But, I mean, hey, you just need something with numbers. We'll
see. Maybe the Undead trait matters next set. But yeah, currently it's just not doing
Yeah,
it.
currently no.
Curate Imwe.
3/5 Sentinel. Use the Force, give the attacker -2. As long as you have the Force, this could be pretty good.
This card's so annoying to kill.
Yeah,
Like,
I mean,
you
3/5
have to.
is already sticky enough, but yeah.
It's like some decks were including Perimeter ATRT, which is a 4-cost 3/5 Sentinel, and that's it. This in
Without
4 is that with a ton of upside. Like, they have to attack with 7 damage to kill it in 1 hit. Like, that's just not happening early in the game.
Yeah.
And if you can gain the Force in between their attacks, like, he can completely wall off a board sometimes.
Yeah, I do like him.
Avar's probably too slow.
4 resources than like the Awakened Specters.
Yeah. Avar's probably too slow for competitive, but this deck in Avar is a menace. Like you play it on 4, and then you untap with it. They attack it, you shrink their attacker. You attack, you regain the Force. They attack it, you shrink their attacker. You Avar ability and gain the Force. They attack it, you shrink it. Like, you get to shrink 3 of their guys of 2 negative though. Like, and then he's taking like 2 damage at that point. We get to do the whole song and dance next phase. Yeah, pretty great card if you can generate the Force.
Yeah.
Luthen Rail.
4/5 Rebel. You can search for an item upgrade. If you're playing a lot of item upgrades, that could be good. It's just there's a lot of competition for 4-drop slot though.
Yeah. It's really difficult to put enough items in your deck where this hits consistently without making your deck terrible, which is unfortunate. I bet it'll be pretty decent in limited. I bet you can put 3 or 4 items in your deck and it'll have like a 60% hit rate or something. I haven't done the
extra. Yeah, when you're only going through 30 cards.
Yeah.
I can see that working.
He's got good stats. You know, Rebel trait matters a little bit. You'll probably play him with Leia and Twin Suns.
Yeah.
But other than that, like, he's not going to see playing competitive rumor.
No.
We've got Graceful Purgle.
2/7 Sentinel for 5. Meh.
I expect to pay 4 for a 2/7 Sentinel in space.
Yeah.
Like, Bright Hope is a 2/6 that has this really powerful bounce effect.
Yeah.
So, like, I feel like this card got the Molecule tax, where Molecule can reduce it. So they bumped the cost by 1.
Right.
Like, because they were really scared of you playing it on 3 resources with Molecule. I mean, that would solo a Vader 4 yellow deck, so maybe they were correct in their assumption that Molecule is insane, but... like, if you're not playing Molecule in your deck, there's no way this is fast enough, unfortunately.
A lot of these Purgle type cards, these big flying whale things, are
big and slow.
they're big. They're too slow.
Yeah. But you can play Protect the Pod and deal 7 damage with your 5-drop. It's got to be crazy. And we've got Anakin Skywalker.
This one could be good. I mean, he could be like playing a Luke for 6 resources. You know, giving a -3, doing it again, making it -6, -6. I think this one could be good. Force, Jedi, Republic, okay. 6 cost 5/7. If you've got the heroism and villainy cards in your discard pile, I think you could be really good.
I think this card is like good enough even if you only get -3. Yeah. Like getting a 5/7, like -3 is just really strong text. It's applicable in a lot of different situations that are good for you. But if you can get both modes on this card is insane.
Yeah.
Like, they played a Poe on 5 resources, and you get to play Anakin on initiative and just kill their Poe.
Yeah. And then next turn, play Luke and
do something else.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great. So in decks that can turn on both modes easily without going either way. So primarily new Kylo, because he can discard heroism upgrades to his
Yeah.
ability and draw cards, or you can play the Rey unit from Shadows of the Galaxy,
Hmm.
and you can either discard it to the Kylo ability, or you can actually play it on 5, and then if it dies on 6, you get to play Anakin. Um, Chancellor Palpatine, which is pretty obvious. You're putting villainy
Yeah.
cards in your deck because you actually are the villainy aspect half the time. Same with
Yep.
heroism. Um,
The new Anakin.
yes, new Anakin is a similar thing where you get to play Barrage on your flip turn, and then you play Anakin the next turn.
Yeah.
Um, I'm sure I'm forgetting some, but leaders like Novelist, there are quite a few leaders that can cheat it. Most of them aren't like super competitive,
Right.
but yeah, any deck that can make this -6 should definitely be playing 3. It's pretty insane when you can get the full value.
Even if you can only do -3/-3, I still think it's good. Hell, there's a lot of times when I play my Luke, just getting -3/-3.
Yeah, for sure.
Good enough, you know.
And there's not too much competition in the 6-drop slot in most decks.
Yeah.
So he'll probably make the cut in
Yeah.
a lot of decks. And now we've got what they should have named as Graceless Purgle. Saw that meme on Reddit. They definitely should have. Missed opportunity. This is Grappling Guardian. Should be Graceless Purgle.
I mean, 7 costs 3/9. The numbers are no good. Now it does have a when played ability, so it does have some immediate impact. You can defeat a space unit with 6 or less remaining hit points. There's a lot of things you can get rid of with that.
Yeah, it kills quite a bit.
Yeah, but then you're left with 3/9.
That does nothing.
Yeah, but I mean, it's a removal card that stays around. There's just better things to do with 7.
I really wish it either had Sentinel or Restore. Like, I think if it just had a little bit more, it could maybe be good enough.
Sentinel would be great. You know, you remove something and you create a huge wall. You know, or restore, but yeah, just something else, something more.
Yeah, the way the current card is printed, there's no way.
But I mean, it is just a common, so
Yeah, I can't expect too much.
yeah.
And we've got Priestesses of the Force.
I mean, if you got a bunch of units out and you can give them all shields, great. If not, not so great.
If you get 5 shields off of this off in Premiere, I will concede to you. Like, I have been doing something seriously wrong. I've lost that game ages ago.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, if you can get a number of shields on 7 resources, you're probably already winning. Yeah, it's not. I mean, it's fine. It's a force unit.
It's big. 6/8's decent stat.
It's big. No, the numbers are fine. It's just there are other things to do on 7 resources in blue.
Now, so if we're playing a 5 deploy Force Leader, and then now there are 2 of them missing, and then shield itself and our Force Leader,
Yeah.
like that's probably good enough. If there is a yellow, blue, 5 deploy Force Leader that's playing now there are 2 of them, that is a ton of conditions. But if that deck exists and is good, this might make the cut as a now there are 2 of them target. I think I guess it's competing with Luke and Qui-Gon in heroism. So
Yes.
it'd probably have to be villainy also. Now we're getting real narrow.
Yeah, and
But-
then in villainy, I mean, there's still things you could do on 7. I mean,
Well, this is in the context of now there are 2 of them.
oh yeah,
Actually, like Pawn Kral's the other now there are 2 of them target for 5 deploy Force Leader. All right, now I got to go build this Talzin yellow deck with now there are 2 of them in it. Prove my point, but it's not seeing play outside of now there are 2 of them, and even then it's probably not good enough.
right.
Now in Twin Suns, shield both your leaders. Maybe that's value.
Now in Twin Suns,
7 deploys really late. I know.
but it's 5. It's 5 units. It doesn't have to be just yours.
Oh yes, you can shield other people's stuff. That is
So you know you can politic your way into like, hey, I'll give your unit a shield if you don't attack me with it, or something along those lines.
I can't wait to open Vader in this Unlimited and shield their leader with the Priestess of the Force, and then attack with Vader and kill their leader.
And then kill it.
That sounds awesome. Like, if you pull that off, you're gonna feel like a legend.
Yeah.
This card seems insane in general.
As a follow-up to Vader, that's another way to get shields out there. But again, you could do Long Pike or something else to get those shields out.
Yeah, how do you answer a 6/8 shielded in limited? Like, you either shatter point or you don't.
Yeah.
Like, off the top of my head, I think that's like the only way you answer it. So it'll definitely be a good bomb in limited, but I don't see it in constructed.
Yeah.
Now, speaking of good bombs in limited, bad in constructed, we've got the Mythosaur.
10/10 shielded. Friendly upgrade.
Great start.
Be exhausted. Return to hand by enemy card abilities. And friendly leaders gain the Mandalorian trait.
Now, that's just what I needed. It was a way to give my Barris leader the Mandalorian trait.
The Mandalorian trait.
So I can put Mandalorian armor and the Darksaber on him and start swinging.
It's a 10/10 shielded. Okay. It's not the best 9-cost card.
If I'm playing it, go ahead.
I'm just saying it's a monster. You know, it's got big numbers. If they don't kill it, then coming at you for 10 next turn.
Yeah. If I'm playing a 9-cost unit on the ground, I expect it to be Crate Dragon level. I expect it to literally be half the time my opponent loses the game on the spot. Like, the Mythosaur is just not that. It doesn't even protect itself from, like, blue removal. Like, if this can't be bounced or defeated, then maybe we have a conversation. It's probably still too slow, but it'd be interesting at least.
Yeah. I mean, they can just completely ignore it and, you know, finish you off if it comes down to it.
Like, Zillow Beast doesn't even see play, and Zillow Beast has one played value as 9-cost 10/10.
Yeah.
So if Zillow Beast isn't making the cut, there's no way Mythosaur is making the cut.
Right. It's a Mandalorian.
And we've got Bolstered Endurance.
Another 1-cost upgrade. It can make something a bit beefier, a little harder to get rid of. But I don't know. I don't see including it in a whole lot of competitive decks.
I think this card is like borderline busted in Kylo, and is just like fine everywhere else. Like, it won't make the cut in anything but Kylo. Because it's non-unique, you can discard 3 of them and play them all on your Kylo deploy. And that's plus 9 health for 3 resources. Like, now my Sentinel leader is a 14 health. Not to mention we probably have other upgrades we're playing. Like, I think I've deployed a Kylo before where I put 3 Bolstered Endurance and 3 Resilient on it, and I gave it plus 18 health. Like, I now have a 23 health ground Sentinel. Like, you better have Rivals Fall or you cannot get through my ground lane. And it's that's only 6 resources.
A lot of the upgrades get better in Kylo, let's say, but
Kylo's just like the perfect upgrade leader.
But outside of that, like, I don't see it in a lot of decks.
Yeah, it's hard to justify it. Maybe an Obi-Wan leader who also has Sentinel.
Yeah.
I could see it, maybe. I think Jedi Lightsaber is still like the upgrade of choice, but it'll probably see play in a lot of Twin Suns decks, like Force Twin Suns decks. It's a lot.
Yeah.
Some ways to buff your leaders, make them harder to kill. It also seems really annoying and limited to put on leaders.
Yes.
Like, oh, my Mother Talzin's a 4/10 now. I guess I'm not killing your Mother Talzin.
Units are just a lot harder to get rid of anyway, so yeah, it's better in that.
And then Cure Wounds.
Use the Force to heal 6 from a unit. Meh.
Heal 6 is a lot. That's a lot of damage.
It is a lot, you know, to heal from a unit. I mean, it could be cool. I'd rather be able to heal a base
Bro, if this card would heal a base, this would be like S tier. This would be one of the best cards in the set. As printed, like, how do I have a unit that has 4+ damage on it that's still alive?
Right.
And I have the force, and I have to draw this card, and I have to spend 1 resource. Like, that's so many hoops. Like, this card is just really, really situational.
Yeah,
like, the card that situational in your deck is just going to weaken your deck. Like, I can even see cutting this card in limited, probably. Like, I don't think it's impactful enough.
Yeah, probably not. I mean, to heal 6 damage from something, it's got to be a big unit anyways, if you're playing late anyways. Yep. Yeah, I just don't see it being used in a whole lot.
And we've got Sorasu stance.
Play a force unit from your hand and give a shield to it, token to it. It's kind of like a way to do Luke 1's effect on something. I could see it if you really need to get a shield on the unit, a sentinel or something. You have that extra resource. I could see it seeing some play.
So I like it in Barris, where Barris can reduce it to 0.
Yeah.
And then you just get a force unit on card with a shield. That's like interesting. I doubt Barris is like a tier 1 deck.
It's gonna be great.
It is cool in Barris. The closest comparison we have is Moment of Peace, which is just 1 cost to give a unit a shield. And that does sees no play.
Right.
The benefit Sorasu Stance has is it gives you that action economy where it plays the unit immediately. Now, you can only do it to force units, and you can't do it to units in play, so it's a weird trade-off. So I doubt it makes the cut for most decks outside of Barris where you can reduce it.
Yeah.
And we've got Crushing Blow.
Defeat a non-leader unit that costs 2 or less. Maybe in those hard control decks that really need that extra removal for whatever reason, but after turn 2,
it's really bad.
Diminishing returns at that point. It's like, okay, they're not playing 2-drops anymore, more than likely. And I've got other removal that can get rid of them for the same cost.
Like, so yeah, I do like to consider it as a 7th power of the dark side in hard control.
But you have to have it in your opening hand. Or at least draw it turn 2.
Yeah, because if you draw it past, then you resource it. But putting cards in your deck that are just absolutely auto resources past turn 1 doesn't seem like a good way to improve the strength of your deck.
Yeah, that's not good.
It's the problem. Now, post rotation, there's no power of the dark side. There's no merciless contest. Maybe this is just the quality of removal for their turn 1 play that we have post rotation, and then this sees play.
Maybe. But those types of decks will want to be mulliganing for a card like this. I don't know.
Yeah, but
for the time being, nah.
Yeah, in the current metagame, no way. Sees much play outside of like 1x. Whirlwind of Power.
-2/-2. Force unit -3/-3. This already make an opening. And it's cheaper, right? Making openings 2.
Well, making opening costs 3, but heals your base.
Oh, but it heals you. That's what it is. Yeah, I'd probably rather play Make an Opening if I wanted this effect.
I just don't think the -1/-1 increase comes up, like, matters often enough to not be playing Make an Opening over this.
Yeah, and not to use your force. Oh, no, sorry. This is just to control the force unit. You don't have to use your force. But still, I'd rather play Make an Opening. I'd rather play Perilous Position.
Yeah. Like, even Make an Opening doesn't usually make the cut because Perilous Position is so much better.
Yeah.
Now, post-rotation mode, those cards are gone, and we're probably playing this.
then that's your only option.
Yep. But yeah, definitely not right now. And then we've got Shatterpoint.
Shatterpoint I like. Another removal option. If you've got the Force, it's a 4-cost Vanquish.
Yeah.
If you don't have the Force, you can target something that with 3 or less remaining hit points.
Like, if you have the Force, it's just better Fel the Dragon. Index already play Fel the Dragon in No Glory only results. So it's like comparable to those two cards. It's nice that it has a mode even if you don't have the Force, so it's not just dead in your hand.
Yeah.
I think the thing I'm most annoyed with this card is it says non-leader on both abilities, but primarily the top ability. And I have misplayed this so many times already online testing, trying to kill their leader that they attack
Trying to kill the leader.
I'm like, it's like takedown, right? It kills a unit with
right
a remaining HP, but no, it cannot hit their leader, which is it's definitely a minus on the card. But
yeah,
like all around is pretty great. Can't really ask more for.
I think it's fine. I could see using this card.
Yep. I think the biggest problem is actually completing with no glory only results in villain.
Wow.
In hero, this card is a slam dunk. Like there's no better options.
Yeah, because they're missing those removal cards. The no glories, the power of the dark sides. This is another good one for them.
Yep. Oh, that's it.
That's the last blue card.
All right, we went through all of the Vigilance cards in Legend of the Force. So I'm not gonna stay here much longer. Let's wrap this up. Let us know your thoughts down in the comments. Let's see how terrible our takes were, how amazing our takes were, what you think, that kind of stuff. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. It helps me out. It helps the channel grow, and it makes YouTube like me more. I think that's all we've got. We'll see you in the next set review.
Alrighty.